Good evening. So you're the first person on? Not by long. Hello. It's not an authentic one, it's a reproduction. But somebody asked me about it earlier, so I thought for tonight's stream I might as well actually put it on. It's a made in Vietnam one. There's a company that does like all sorts of historical style Pith helmets, so I got one of these. I wouldn't mind some like the more modern style Pith helmets actually, obviously this doesn't really offer you any head protection. It looks cool. Oh, it's Jumanji, isn't it, Richard? What's it, Van Pout? Sonny Jim. You can work that out from my username, I am the typer. It's fairly comfortable, yeah. I mean, I've not tried wearing it in a really hot summer, so I should do that. But it's got an adjustable thing in it, so you can change the Velcro there and make it looser or tighter. So what I could do, obviously, is like do this, and then it'd be a bit looser. So I could get that to go further down. I'm not sure how far down you're meant to actually wear these, because that's probably too far down, isn't it, like that? That is too far down. Just pop it there like that. Yeah, sadly I don't have a martini, Henry. Yeah, I might do that at some point, but as I said, I don't like wearing Nazi repro stuff for obvious reason. No, the Viet Cong ones were quite flat. I think the company that makes these does do reproduction Viet Cong ones as well, because they do reproduction ones of a lot of ones. I'm English, Ayub, if I'm pronouncing your name right. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. So, UK. Right, it's got the shade in my eyes now, so that's about right. But it doesn't look very good on the stream, does it, if I've got that too far down, because then, Right, I sent you a thing, Mike, I don't know if you saw it earlier. Oh, I did get a message, I'll just check that. Yeah, there was something, I noticed today when I was out for a walk, and I thought I'd bring it up in the stream, because when a few people are on it, might be worth having a chat about this, because it's one of those interesting things that might make a good topic for discussion. Freedom of speech is pretty bad in the UK. It's not as bad as it is in some countries, but there's certain things that you would get arrested for saying, yeah, so you don't have proper freedom of speech. Yeah, they're similar to boonie hats or bonnie hats, aren't they? Just made of pith rather than actually, you know. Anyway, don't forget to like the stream, everybody, and we will get on to our first topic of discussion, which is something fairly interesting. Well, I find it interesting, some of you think it's real proper boring. But what that is, let me just see what the like ratio is like and everything before we get properly started. 13 likes so far, that's not bad. How many live viewers have I got? 20. No. If you read the FAQ, Ayub, I'm not. Right, okay, so let me start on... So basically, I went for a walk earlier, like I normally do. And there's a route I sometimes take for a walk where I go down a road near where I live, then you go past a load of back gardens, down like a more country road, then you get into the proper area where the fields are, and then I sort of do a bit of a circuit where I go around and then you pass a load more back gardens again, and like some more fields, before you get back onto like the proper roads. And what I found really weird today, and it's like really weirded me out, obviously I won't tell people where I am because I don't want them to find out my address, but when I was looking on Google Earth afterwards, and I still can't work it out, is that, yeah, it was fast walking, yeah, Blood Hunter, not jogging, but decently fast walking, so you know, where you can probably do 5 miles, 6 miles an hour kind of walking speed. There's a massive garden that I thought must belong to one of the houses, and I've never thought about it too much before. But then if you go onto the other side of the road where all the houses are, you can see where their gardens are. So I just can't work out whose garden this belongs to. This is just what I'm finding really weird. You know, and then because I went on Google Earth and I specifically was like, alright, let's look and I'll see whose garden this is. And then you can see where everybody's back fences are. And you're like, what? So there's this big, like, obviously it is somebody's garden because the lawn's all mowed. They've got, like, patio chairs on a bit of it. You know, they've got, you know, like all that sort of stuff in it. But it's really weird because I can't figure out whose house it belongs to. I wondered if there was anything like that in some of the other areas where anybody else lives that watches these. You know, if there's any like land that's like private property but you would have no idea who it belongs to. Because I know like if it's a field, people can randomly just buy fields. But you can't access this from the bit I was walking. You can't access it from the public footpaths. It's obviously off of somebody's garden. But what I can't figure out is if you walk down the road, you know, which adjoins this area, it's all just regular sized houses, and all of them have a very uniform sized garden because they were all houses built in the same period. It's not public property because I said there's no way you can get on it, and it's too well kept for that. It's definitely private property. It's just I can't figure out who it belongs to. But yeah, it's just got the old noggin jogging, you know, where I'm sort of going, who does that belong to then? See, I just find that quite interesting, trying to figure out weird stuff like that. Yeah, I like most of the safari hats and like Pith helmets. I think they look quite cool. But yeah, because it reminds me a bit. This is a totally different thing, but there's a manor house not too far from us, and sadly that's closed to the public a lot now, but it used to have been, what was it, like, it was one of those annoying ones where it used to be a good manor house where, like, every once a year or whatever, they do a free open day or whatever it was, and then it got bought by a different set of owners, and, you know, they completely closed it off even though nobody lives in it. But I think they just did it to sit on it so the house price of it goes up. But that's one where it's one of those ones that looks a bit weird, because from the outside, you know, it's one where it looks like it should have a certain number of rooms, and then on the inside it doesn't. And then they actually show you on some of the tours of it that there's like a shut off, you know, like fake room in there, and it was, I think, like what they call a priest hole or something like that, and it was for hiding priests during, you know, like, I think when we went from being Catholics to Protestants, you know, so they could hide the priests in there so they wouldn't be killed or whatever. But it's got like a, you know, a room that's hidden from the outside. So that's why like the floor plan doesn't match up. It's like one of those quite cool things. Like there's you know, like a secret stairwell that then takes you up into this room that you can't see from the outside. Now I only speak English. You know, it's just one of those things that's like that. I find quite fascinating when there's places where, you know, the outside windows don't match the inside windows. Yeah, I think we were chatting about that, weren't we, on one of your streams, Mike, about in a shit hits the fan kind of thing. How, yeah, I've got The Secret Garden on DVD. I did think about that earlier. But yeah, I think we were chatting on one of yours streams, weren't we, about were there any rooms in your house that could be converted, you know, like, or people's houses in general, did they have things like where they could do like a hiding place in one of the rooms or whatever? I don't actually know, Richard. Yeah, it's just one of those things, and I thought, oh, that's quite interesting. But yeah, you could be right. It could be where somebody's bought an extra bit of land once they bought the house, and then somebody technically owns it for that. But it's all very nice looking and everything. What I'll do later, Mike, is I'll send you on Twitter an actual Google Earth link so you can have a look at it. But you probably can't see it all that well from Google Earth. But it's one of the things I never thought about too much before, because whenever I've walked down that place in recent years, most of the time there's you couldn't see into that place because, you know, all the hedges and everything were too overgrown. But obviously whoever owns it now has like properly trimmed them all back so you can actually see through it. Because before I just figured everybody's gardens ran to that length, but they were just, you know, quite uniform all in a row. But now if you look at on Google Earth, you can see all the gardens stop like there, and then there's this massive field almost thing, you know, like big kind of nice garden with a boathouse and everything on it. Well, the thing is, I don't think it could even be that Iron Man Spartan, because if you look at the size of this compared to all the neighbouring things, it's still way bigger. It's like, if this was somebody's house and like front garden, back garden size thing, you could probably fit 4 or 5 houses onto this land. Yeah, that's the case, Snowman, like most Western countries, a few very rich people own most of the land. No, I mean like Google Earth. You can look it up there, you can see where this land is on Google Earth, because the last satellite update's from like 7 months ago, or whatever, in my area. You can see that this thing is there, but what I'm saying is you can see where everybody's back fences are. So at some point next time I'm on the walk, I might scout that area out a bit more and try and figure that out, because it's just got me intrigued now. The CT12. I'm a bit too old now, Nate, because if I could, then yeah, but I was shit at learning another language in school, so I didn't bother. I meet entitled people all the time on YouTube, a random confused parrot. It's a Pith helmet, the legendary knight. Yeah, it is, but I thought it'd be a more interesting discussion than watch your favourite mask 24/7. It's just, you know, one of those things where it's got me really intrigued for some reason. Like I genuinely want to go out and solve this mystery now. Like I want to figure out whose land this belongs to. It's just one of those things I find a bit weird, you know. Because all the houses where I am were all like new builds in the 1940s or something like that, 1950s. So it's not like in the particular area I am, any of these houses are older than any of the others. You know, so, because I could understand if it was like one of the much older houses there had all the land and all the newer houses didn't. But that's defeating the fun, isn't it, Snowman White, if I just literally go and ask the council. I could actually go behind there with the night vision one night, Mike, actually, that's a good idea. Wouldn't admit on stream to trespassing, but that is an interesting idea, going there with night vision at night to see if I can figure out. But yeah, I'd have to do it in a fun way, I reckon. I don't think I could just ask the council it belongs to. Yeah, because I asked my dad, because my dad's lived here all his life, because obviously this is the house he bought in something like the 1950s, or very early 60s. So I thought, I'll ask my dad, he'll know, and my dad had no idea either. He's like, oh no, all those gardens are really small. I was like, well no, they're not, because if you go and look at this thing... Yeah, I've got night vision, Nate, there's a video on it. There are several videos on it. Yeah, there's a load of allotments down the road from me, Iron Man Spartan. You know, like, it's one of the fields has been converted into an allotment patch. So there's quite a lot of allotments on there. As I said, Snowman, there's no plans to break any laws here. It's all legal. Yeah, Andrew, you have to take the GSR's plug bit off. Sadly, yeah, random confused parrot, that happens, but... It'd be like stealth camping. But yeah, Andrew, what there is the GSR has the bayonet fittings, and they're basically put over 40mm ports. Not really either, Nate. They're like garden tools, so they probably fall under all the rules of garden tools, but if not, I'd say they'd fall under the rules of a big knife. It does if you have it this low. If you just wear it like that, then no. Yeah, so I'll look more like a peeping Tom, won't I, Mike, rather than an actual breaking and entering person. But I don't know, it's just got me really intrigued now. Next time I go for a walk, I'm definitely going to have to walk past there a few times. I imagine most gas masks would fit with this helmet, alright. Let's have a quick look. I don't like the GP7, but let's just see. I'm just going to check the temperature of my coffee as well before... Oh, I hate this mask. There you go. If I completely undid the Velcro, yeah, that would properly go down. I hate the GP7. Such a bad design. I need to readjust my Pith helmet now. There's a Geiger M65 in the background for the person asking that, so I'm assuming you're taking the piss with that question. I'm just going to refresh this page because it's not actually working properly. Oh, there was an issue with YouTube. F5. F5. Right, you have to let me know if you can still hear the chat, but I can't actually get back onto it now. Right, I'm assuming YouTube's gone down. Let me see if I can get this up on my phone, because I'm assuming the stream's still going, is it? Let me just put this on silent. Right, let's see if I can get back on now. At least I can view it from my phone that way, if I really have to. Right, okay, so I'm viewing this from my phone. So yeah, it's just there's a problem with the YouTube website then or something. Alright, thanks Mike, I just saw your email as well. So yeah, that's very strange. So I can basically, look, I can see myself there, but I can't see myself on the web thing anymore. No, I'm not going to put it on now, Nate. Oh, you can't hear the chat, can you? Because it's chat. You read it. I'll just keep seeing if I can get the YouTube thing up. Alright, cool. Looks like YouTube's back up. It looks like I might just have to sign back in. Oh, there was an issue signing you into YouTube. Troubleshoot here. That's not helpful, is it? So YouTube, the phone app's working, just not the one on my thing. No, I've got a Lee Enfield No. 1 Mark III. Dust masks are pretty much useless unless you get one that has a really good face feel. Yeah, old Safari, Pith helmets, that kind of thing. Right, sorry if I'm not reading a chat, I'm just gonna try and see if I can fix this on the computer end, because if I'm having to read it from the phone, I'm not gonna bother with the stream for much longer, just because it's an absolute pain, because I can't really look at it while I'm reading it, and the font's really small. Alright, the main problem is that it's like it's forgotten my details. Let me just close the entire browser and reopen it and see if that fixes it. Let me see if my Gmail works, because that might give me some indication if there's a problem. Right, so my Gmail is fine. And that's really strange, because it's all linked, isn't it? Right, okay. I reckon I'm back now. Just give me a second. Right, I'm back. Okay, yep, so it was just it being derpy. Right, here we go. I should have the stream chat back on in a minute. And then I'll be able to see it on here. There we go. Right, I'm back. Yep, so basically what was happened is YouTube just threw a fit, I guess. And so for whatever reason, when I went back on Gmail, it seemed to figure out, oh, you're logged in. And then I was able to go back on YouTube and I was able to get back on everything. I need a Martini Henry, like Iron Man Spartan said, with this helmet, really, because this is more of colonial era. At some point I might be able to Iron Man Spartan. I couldn't really set that up on the stream right now, but I suppose at some point we could see, does Fiesta wear go through this material? We can try different bits of paper or like cardboard and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, I mean, it'd be good if I had something that gave off gamma radiation, really, but I could at least do it at Fiesta wear. Alright, I'll get out for you in a second, mate. Let me have a bit more coffee and then I'll get the rapier out and we'll play on guard. Or does Sabre look better with this helmet, do you reckon? I don't actually know. Yeah, Billy, with the GSR, unless you convert it to go back to the original 40mm thing underneath, the bayonet system on the GSR, is basically designed so as soon as you remove a filter it cuts off air from that side, like the Avon M50. So when an Avon M50 and a Scott GSR is working properly, if you take both filters off you can't breathe, because that's the idea, that you change them one at a time. Sounds slightly illegal, Ian? Better delete that comment just in case. I'm sure it's a joke, but you know how people are on the internet. What's actually underneath the raincoat on the dummy, Richard? Like, what have you done the main body out of? Oh, and now it's done the thing to top chat where I can't even see the thing. Yeah, for everybody asking, do I have this mask, do I have that mask, look at my videos. For the most part, I have every single common surplus mask on the market because, you know, I've got something like 100 masks. So yes, I have an M10 and an M10M and a Czechoslovakian CM3. And the CM4. It's mostly alpha, but if I put my Geiger counter up to some of the smoke, I don't know what I'm pointing out because you can't see it, but if I get the Geiger counter out and do most smoke alarms in the house, most of them I get a very low reading from, or I don't get any at all. I think you need a Geiger counter with a proper alpha probe to actually be able to get a decent reading off of them. Because the idea is the stuff inside the smoke alarm shields it. As I've said before, if you had a GP5 or any of those communist block masks in good condition, and you put a modern filter on them that actually fit the mask, yes, they would work. SS Leto, Alan. Or Alan. Also known as Partisan. I've already done that, Johnson. Right, I'm just going to give you a bit of a warning now, Johnson. So I'm going to be polite about it, but you've kept asking lots and lots of times, can I do a video on stuff I've already done? So I'm starting to think you're doing this on purpose now. So if you keep doing this, I'll just have to block you, because you're obviously, I think, trying to do it to wind me up. Yeah, they've got something in them, Nate, which is designed, I think the idea is because the smoke blocks it, that's when it sets the alarm off. So it's got, you know, it's constantly irradiating something, and then it's got a thing that detects it, and then if something goes between those two things, that's how it's set off. If it's from the 1960s, I wouldn't use that filter. It wouldn't give you much protection at all. Pith is like a cork kind of material. So a heavy sword blow would go through this and through your head. It's going to give you less protection than a hard hat. It's better than nothing, but most things are better than nothing. Hard rock, I'd say, rocks. Have you got an S10 Ironman Spartan? Because an S10 or FM12, if you can get them in the £30 to £60 region, that's a very good mask, and you can get filters easily enough for them. Oh, it depends, Gamer29, when they were built. If you've got M2s built after the year 2000 or whatever, they're Serbian. If you've got one built in the early 90s, then it's Yugoslavian, isn't it? Yeah, it's like a bump helmet, but not as sophisticated as a modern bump helmet, because it's, you know, not got hard plastic and foam in, it's just pith. You taking the pith, mate? That's a bad pun, isn't it? What was the metal one? Like the East German one? Yeah, if you had a steel pot helmet and somebody swung a sword at it, that's going to give you a lot better level of protection, yeah. But, you know, in general, that's why most militaries replaced helmets and caps with actual steel helmets, because they protected the wearer from shrapnel and, like, blows. Right, let me have a look at your thing, Mike. I will read that, not necessarily out loud, but... Right, I've responded to that, Mike. Richard already beat you to that one, Peach. I've already done it, you missed it. If you jump back in the stream a bit, I did it with the, I tell you what. Let me finish my coffee, and then I will take the VistaVision out and do it with the VistaVision. How does that sound? It'll probably fog up really fast, but we'll do the VistaVision with the Pith helmet. That sounds good. Oh, that sounds very good. Snowman White, yeah. Yeah, I remember you know less content because I remembered you because of your Peppy image, to be honest, rather than your username. It depends. Hose lets you have a bigger filter on your belt or satchel, and it takes the weight better, but I'd say for civilians a hose, for military personnel no hose. I don't know, that's sort of an interesting thing, Iron Man Spartan, isn't it? Like a Ned Kelly helmet. Right, cheers, Bobby Bot. Oh, Mike, there was something I found earlier that I was speaking to Peach about. I remember your mushroom cloud picture from earlier, Gaming Legend, yeah. There was something I saw earlier, Mike. I don't know if I can find it again. But I thought it would be a really good thing for you to make as a project, and I'll show it to Peach if I find it, because I was on about it earlier. I can't remember what I typed in, but it came up. But it's basically like a post-apocalyptic riot helmet. I'm going to see if I can find a design again, because it came up, you know, as randomly when I was searching for something else. But what it basically was like one of those metal miner helmets that, you know, a bit like the construction hard hats, but one of the metal ones, with some sort of face cage kind of thing in front of it, and then like leather around the side. As like a post-apocalyptic riot helmet. I thought it looked really cool, and I thought it was one of those things that you might be able to make for a video or something. Because Peach wanted to see it, but I'm trying to find a picture of it now, and I can't find it again, which is really annoying. I make sure my history gets deleted, Peach. Don't want that sticking around. it was a Polish riot helmet thing I think I typed in when the image came up. So I'm just seeing if I can get it to come up again if I search for similar things that I searched for earlier. Okay, I think I found it. Right, let's see what this is from. Oh, it's apparently an item from Rust, which is a game. There we go. This is a massive URL. I won't be able to post it in the thing, so what I'll do is I'll save it as an image and then I'll post it on Twitter later for you, Mike, if that's alright. That way you'll at least be able to see it. So yeah, as it's from a game, I won't post it in case there's a copyright thing on it, but I'm sure there's lots of full helmets that can do that, but yeah. Now, that's a lot of effort to do, isn't it, just for posting an image during a stream when I'm trying to chat with a load of people. I don't have any, I've done rebreather reviews, but I can't test them for obvious reason, capitals. You mean L85 A3? That's probably a bit better than the A2, but it's still a L85. I've not actually played Rust, but yeah, this is like a very Fallout looking Mad Max sort of post-apocalyptic thing, so I'll see if I can send you a picture of it later as well, Peach. Or if I send it to Mike, then Mike can probably email it you, can't he, or whatever he does. But I reckon your Mike can make this, and I reckon it would look really good in the video. Because I reckon a lot of people into Fallout and stuff like that would find this thing fascinating. I've already done a video on the Serbian M2. Might do another one at some stage, but I've got several videos of it on my channel. I'm glad you enjoy it, no less content. I've heard mixed things, Iron Man Spartan. I've heard it looks really good and, you know, it runs really well, but I've heard some people say it gets boring really quickly. I haven't bought any new games in ages. Not really. I'm afraid there's not much option you've got if you wear glasses with a gas mask. You have to buy a modern one that takes optical inserts and then pay a shitload of money to get the proper optical inserts for them. Right, tell you what, let me finish my coffee, then I'll get the Steve Gorman VistaVision down and we'll put that on. And then we'll go back to reading questions. Right, I need to try and remember how to adjust these straps now, because they're the old British style ones which are a pain to adjust. Let me put the Pith helmet over here so I can grab it again in a minute. Right. Yeah, thank you, don't forget to like the stream. Right. Let's figure out about adjusting these straps, because they're old British straps which are really poor design on straps. And I don't want to make them rip, because that's the other problem with old masks. That straps can sometimes be a bit frail when you actually try and adjust them. Yeah, it was quite humid. any electrical appliance makes the bills go up for Snowman White. Right, there we go. That's the Seed Gorman VistaVision. But it's not attached to a filter for obvious reasons, because it's an old asbestos mask. Let's wear it with a helmet now. It's not really uncomfortable. I mean, the straps aren't good on it, because it's one of those old crap strap design masks. But in terms of yeah, but not at the same time Iron Man Spartan. Most are designed to be swapped out with either one. Hello? Hello? How well can you hear me with the mask on, stalkers? Can you hear me alright? I think I wore it on one video when I initially got it, Mike. Just to quickly try it on for like a minute when I was talking about it in the video. But yeah, it's one of those like old British industrial masks and like firefighter sort of masks. I think this mask they have on in Goldfinger at one point when they attacked Fort Knox. This one just didn't come with a filter. I think with these masks, oh, it does the farty noise. Right, I think with these masks, they did the thing where these could either be attached to like oxygen tanks or like airlines or whatever, depending on how the mask is being used. Because every time you breathe in, it defogs it. So yeah, it fogs up on an exhale, clears on an inhale. Yeah, it's been alright, thank you. I would if I could afford them, but sadly vintage diving suits would probably cost me shitloads of money. I'd love an old diving helmet though. eBay, the same place I get everything. I'll search the name of it for you, Mermac. When I search that, loads of different masks come up, so I have no idea. What you're on about. I want to find something out now, just a second. It would need a bit of adaptation, but in theory, you could set this up somehow to work with a filter, I guess. This would have been the old British asbestos style filters, or attached to an airline. Right, that can come off for now. But yeah, the VistaVision sort of works. Probably Jacob, something like my Scott M98 mask, something like that, I imagine. The SHMS does the same thing. I've not actually seen those for sale since I wanted to get one. That's Weapon Collector. We might do that tomorrow. Yes, this is a Pith helmet. Can you tell me the name of a thing that I can search to find it? So if I put CRM30, if I try gas mask, will that come up with any results? Serbian CRM30 rocket fuel handling gas mask. Okay, looks like I'm onto something now. Let's see if I can get an actual page up though with that mask on it. Let me try Serbian CRM30. That's just random crap coming up. Okay, Right, there was a video that came up, so let me open that and just pause it and see if I can, In this video, though, it doesn't look like the guy's going to even show the mask. The only thing I can see on this video is what looks like an M2 mask with like a rebreather tank or something with it. Alright, that sounds good, Mike. No, the only military patches I've ever got was some Spanish fascist ones that were being sold on eBay years ago really cheap. I think they were actually cufflinks. You know, like Guardia Civil cufflinks. They were pretty cool. But I have no idea where I've put them. And I didn't really particularly want to do a video on them because, you know, it's a bit like doing stuff with swastikas on. But I thought they were very cool, you know, having like kind of party badge cufflinks, but like phalange ones or flange, however it's pronounced. That sounds like it might work, Steve. Have you seen Weapon Collector's video from the other day? Because he had a good idea from a car boot sale thing about making like riot armour out of kydex and stuff like that, like using shin guard kind of things. If not, watch his car boot sale video because he's had some good ideas recently. What's that? Cufflinks or Russian patches? I've also got a Russian somewhere dog tag, but I can't remember where I put that. But it's a Russian one with like loads of Cyrillic on it and a Grim Reaper. It's probably on that shelf somewhere. That's quite cool. Let me have a quick look in case it's anywhere obvious. It's probably not. Oh, hang on. But yeah, that was like a couple of quid on eBay from somebody who had loads and loads of Soviet surplus in stock, so I bought that. Right, see you, I am the typer. But yeah, I just picked that up because I thought, oh, that's cool, like Grim Reaper on it. I think it says something like death solves all problems, a bit like the Stalin quote if you translate it. But I thought, yeah, that looks pretty grim and pretty neat. Grim neater. There's a katana there. The one hanging on the bookcase is the saber. Yeah, thank you, Billy Blood. Remember to write the not write the stream, like the stream, everybody. Thank you, Ryan. So, it's got a picture of the Grim Reaper or death, and then it says, I solve all problems. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess it would just be more like solves all problems, wouldn't it? As in, like death and then solves all problems like that. But I mean, I don't speak Russian, but... I don't have the Mark IV Osprey armour in this room, Steve, if that's what you mean. That's in the other room. It's not this late at night in the UK, it's 8 PM. Sometimes I have decaf when I'm on streams. No, I don't ride motorbikes, cheeky breeky. I have a car. Oh yeah, I drink coffee most streams, but most of the streams I'm doing, again, are 8 PM and I've finished the coffee fairly soon. I know caffeine can take like 6 hours to get out of your system, but by the time I go to bed it's going to be like 1 AM or something anyway. But as said, I have decaf sometimes quite late in the evening anyway if I want coffee. Yep, I want to see that shot zombie put on the Discord. I'll quickly open that up. I've got a Dacia Sandero now. Another 10, 15, 20 minutes. I'm not going to go all that long, because I don't know if Weapon Collector's streaming on Twitch later, but as I did a stream this morning as well for people in different time zones. The thing is, mine doesn't have any shoulder armour. It just has where you put the front Kevlar panel that comes to like there, and then the rear Kevlar panel. I'm assuming if you have the extra Kevlar bits, you buy them separately and stick them on. But I don't have any on mine, Steve. Wow, what is that thing? So that's East German armour, is it? Wow, that is... So that's like a man tank thing. I'm just trying to come to grips with how that was meant to be used. Do you mind, Shot Zombie, if I download the pictures and just quickly put them up on the screen so people can see it? Is that alright? Or do you want me not to do that? Because I don't know if they're your pictures or not. And I remember most of the things I've got collections of, Alex. The weirdest one I've never done a video on is bottle caps that are on that shelf over there. Alright, cool. Yeah, I'll post it. I didn't know if you'd bought one or something and then had taken the pictures and you didn't want anybody sharing them, because I know on some things people get quite funny about people sharing pictures. Alright, let me open them and save them. I'll call it East German Armour 1. I'll just share the first picture if that's alright. But let's get that one up. Right, here we go. Let's put it over here and enlarge it, and we will analyse it. So, this is this weird East German body armour stuff, or whatever it is. So, obviously I'm assuming the top bit is like a load of head armour, and what is this, like loads of Kevlar panels or something? It's communist power armour, evidently. But, so was this like a bomb diffuser thing or what? Because that's the closest thing it looks like, is a bomb diffusal suit. Oh, I don't have that armour, unfortunately. This is the one Shot Zombie has just told me about, but... Yep. Yeah, so yeah, it's the East German Black Knight. They must have seen the Holy Grail and said, oh, I don't know why they're going to have a Russian accent, but this is a very good idea for the armor. They will not be expecting this. The head and the torso will be completely armored, but not the legs and the arms. This will defeat those capitalists fine. So yeah, communist power armor, no leg or arm protection. You wouldn't need a suit for laying mines though, would you? Because the idea is that they're not going to explode if you're laying a mine. What, so you can actually have the medals on the front? So you could be wearing that armour and then showing off all your medals as well. Oh, metal, yeah, I thought then you were going to say they pinned all their medals to it as well. So they could, you know, show off their medals. Well, that's fascinating. Thank you for that, Shot Zombie. I have no clue. I really don't. I mean, I guess they just thought, let's put loads of metal plates and layers of Kevlar kind of stuff together. But you know, it's oh, I've deleted the wrong thing. Hang on. Right, let me get the stream video back up. Video capture device. Okay. Logi capture. Okay. Right, there we go. I'm back. Is it doing 2 lots of audio, or is it just doing the 1 lot of audio? I think that's fine. Oh, I need to put the disclaimer back up. There we go. Yeah, it's Soviet Pyramid Head. Have you seen that really cool tank they had for, I think it was trying to like defuse mines or put out fires, but by putting jet engines on a tank? Oh yeah, you just shoot them in the leg though, wouldn't you? You'd have to have a machine gun that's mounted on the floor, then just shoot them all in the leg. I'm just seeing if I can find Here we go. I've got a picture of it. Let me put it up, and I'll make sure I don't delete the webcam thing this time. So this is, I think, a T-55 chassis that they've put a big air cannon thing on. But you can find info on these. They're really weird. I think this was meant to set off mines or something without actually having to drive over the mines. But it's that kind of thing. Oh, that was to clear snow. Okay. Well, there's also the flail tanks, wasn't there, where they had the big, like, mechanised flails. They're really cool. But, so it's a snowblower tank. Sadly, there's no... I wish I could just do it that if people bought merch, I could then PM them, but I can't see who's bought merch. So I can't do that, I'm afraid. But, yeah, you have to support me on Patreon, because then I PM you through Patreon. Our flamethrower tanks are a pretty old concept. They had those in World War II, but I mean, it's like the weird tanks as well, like the ones where they put like the giant synthetic crystals as well for like an anti-air thing that was designed to burn out missiles, infrared chips or something like that. Because they had those as well, which were weird. I think that VistaVision's making me sneeze. Sorry about that. But I love that sort of retro stuff where they're like, well, let's put a giant thing on this to do this task because that's easier than designing something specifically to do this task. Alright, cool, I did miss it, but yeah, I'll definitely watch you on Twitch then later, Mike. Alright, cool. I'll have a look on Discord. Yeah, I think I've seen it on... There's one I've seen as well that looks a bit different than that, that look like a Shilka chassis. With one, like, very big one on a Shilka turret instead of the 423mm guns. I've got the, one with Court of the Crimson King on CD. That's the only one I've listened to, you know, like the EP or whatever it is. With like 20th Century Schizoid Man or whatever it is on that one. Oh, that's cool. So, what, it was, the idea was that it would make the tank so hot the ammo inside would explode. That's a really interesting, like, war concept, but did it actually work? Or was it, you see, comrade, if we put laser on tank, then it will blow up their shells. But how much does it cost to make one of these guns? Oh, it makes 50 times the cost of making conventional tank. So would it not be better, comrade, to have just 50 normal tanks with tank guns? Yeah. Well, comrade, we have not set off one tank yet, but we have drained the entire battery. Our multi-million ruble tank has been blown up because it could not destroy enemy tank. Ah. Yet. So it had like another tank on a trailer. I just find the idea quite funny that it's got like a wire attached to it with a second tank behind it. When, you know, you could just have a tank with a tank gun on it. Yeah, so you missed your target and then, oh no, the battery is drained. I haven't played that in years, Alex. Or any of the Command & Conquer games. What I actually feel like installing again, I think I've got on disc somewhere, is Command & Conquer Generals. Gonna have to look it up, Steve, because I can't think what that is off the top of my head. Oh, wow. Of course it would be a Nazi design. Of course it would be. Ah, the mouse, it is not big enough. Make the tanks bigger. Yeah. I've blown the entire economy of the Third Reich on this one tank, but it is you know, used up all of Germany's fuel to move 1 mile, and it has been bombed. What mask should you get next? I don't actually know. Maybe watch some of my videos where I suggest masks, anything in the background, I don't know, pick what you fancy. That's Army Men though, isn't it, Weapon Collector? The Tan had tanks in Army Men with magnifying glasses on them. Isn't there one like that, but with Goering or something, like an image or whatever, where it's like make bigger something or other, and they keep saying, I think it's about something to do with the jet engines on aircraft. But yeah, they designed something incredibly well, but it's over-engineered, and then in World War II they just couldn't help themselves. PPM-88 is much cooler than the GP5, but it's probably going to cost you a lot more. I'm going to see if I can find this on Google now. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody. I'll just shout that out while I'm... Why can I not get a Google image of this? This is annoying. But yeah, I'm pretty sure in the Army Men games the TAN had like magnifying glasses on things as weapons. Yep, shame 3DO isn't around anymore, like every single company EA buys and destroys. Was that 3DO actually destroyed by EA? I can't remember. I'm just searching Goering comic to see if I can find this thing where they're taking the piss out of Goering, but annoyingly it looks like it's all actual real comics coming up, not like you know, the internet one. Oh well. I'll be finishing the stream in a minute anyway. $1, Nate, or Billy, whoever was asking. I know they made this completely pointless Wunderwaffe, or whatever they like to call them, the Wonder Weapons, Rich, where they made one that was like a giant artillery gun that couldn't be moved. It was like built onto a hill somewhere. And the idea was it was loads and loads of successive guns that apparently all fired a charge, and if you timed it right, you could project, you know, like fire a projectile really, really far. And that was a really flawed one because you couldn't change the gun, so you'd fire it once, it would destroy its target, assuming it hit, but then you couldn't, you know, re-angle the gun. So that was one of their really, really dumb designs, and I think that just got bombed at some point. Okay, let me search that. Seems like you know all the names of all these things. Yep, that's the one. Yeah, the V3 was a German World War II supergun working on the multi-charge principle whereby secondary propellant charges are fired to add velocity to a projectile. Did they even finish it, or did it get blown up before they even finished it? I can't remember. But I know it's one of those things like, who in their right mind would think this was a, you know, a good idea? I've got an Osprey vest, if that's what you're asking, James. What's this about a vlog? Oh, the bucket you've got. Oh. Callum Peach on Twitter seems to have a thing for rust headgear. Which one did you make, Peach, or both? That's a Pith helmet. It's not going to really offer you any head protections. Ah, cool. But yeah, I've gone over time for this stream, but I'll carry on going for a little bit longer if we can think of more stupid Nazi wonder weapons they built that were completely pointless. What else did they build? What's Monster? Because this is on a proposed design. So what is this, like 4 kind of tank tracks that move a giant artillery gun? 1,000-ton tank. Oh, that's the wrap. An even larger 1,500-ton vehicle. The 1,500 monster. Albert Speer, the armor. So Speer cancelled both projects. At least Speer was sensible. Imagine if they didn't have Albert Speer in the Third Reich, it would have collapsed even more. I've got a real Pascat helmet, so I don't need a replica one. I've got his book there, but I bet I can't show the front cover because I bet YouTube won't like it. There we go. There you go. You can't see it. It's fine. But there's Speer's big book. I've got that. It's quite an interesting book, but it's fairly big. Is there any good pictures in it? Because I know it's got some pictures sometimes. Box armour looks a bit more practical. The Fleck arms are brilliant camo. Oh, there's some of Speer's models there. All the some paper fell out. What was on that? That's quite. Is that Germania or whatever one that is? Like the proposed design. Right, I'll put this book where nobody can see the pictures on it, because I don't want to get demonetised. There you go. Oh yeah, it's the receipt from the charity shop. I spent £1.20 on that book. Wow, that's expensive for me. It's so faded you can't see it. Alright, see ya. I'm off in a moment anyway, because I've been streaming longer than I said I would this evening. Maybe my Hungarian one that I can never remember the name of. I'm not going to put it on again, but for somebody who was saying, could I put one of the masks on that was on my wall? There you go. Now, I'm only going to be on for like another minute now, I'm afraid, and I'm off. I have no idea, Snowman White. I'd love to know, but I don't think I have those magic powers myself. Suppose that's one way of getting rid of tailgaters. Yeah, I'm streaming tomorrow. Thanks. It's not technically a Zulu helmet, it's just the British style Pith helmet. I don't know, some sort of mask with loads of polycarbonate on it. I don't actually know about. Probably not one I've even got in my collection, to be honest. I'm sure there's some companies that specialise in making like riot helmet style masks. If I find some for a sensible price, I will definitely get it Shop Zombie. Then I can walk around and film myself in public wearing it, while people look at me very strangely. And then I might fall over and then I won't be able to get back up and I'll die. But it might be a funny idea. But sadly I've never seen East German box armour. Metal boxes for sale. But you know, if I see some East German Ned Kelly armour for sale, I'll buy it. If you get the Law Peach, you can defeat the East German box armour. That's not fair, is it? They spend all that effort and money inventing this special armour, and then you can shoot it with an anti-tank weapon and destroy it. It reminds me of that bit in Future Perfect when I was streaming that, where you lift the guy out of the boat who's in the cannon and his legs are sticking out of the cannon. I'm not streaming tonight because this is my stream. I'm finishing any moment now, but I keep getting distracted. Which one's a Mark II? It sounds like it's a good price for it. I doubt you mean a British Mark II, because that would be an amazing price for one of those, but I'm pretty sure most gas masks for £25 would be a good price. Oh, do you mean like a light anti-gas respirator Mark II? Yeah, that's good for £25. So yeah, do you think they're going to have to, if East Germany made loads and loads of those suits, they'd have to, all nations would have to go back to anti-tank weapons to stop them? Yeah, light anti-gas, yeah, 25 quid for that's good. I was getting confused then. Do you think they did that to defeat 5.56 rounds? They're like, the NATO fiends, they are going to 5.56 from 7.6 to NATO, they will not have the power to puncture this armor. Now I'll Google it, because I don't know what that is without looking. Oh, I think that's the one Richard Weaponsmith has. Or he has something very similar. Because he's got like the blue journalist one, or whatever it is, or UN Peacekeeper one that he said looks like a fisherman's vest. Or maybe that's just a flak jacket, I don't know, but well, that is my German accent, Snowman White. I suppose I do sound like Ernst Stavro Blofeld, Mr. Bond. But, yeah, it's just a stereotypical evil German voice. But anyway, yeah, I'll be off now, because I keep saying I'm going off and then I don't. So, don't forget to like the stream, everybody. Yeah. Just they're defeated by like a £5 wire. They stretch a giant wire over all the Fulda Gap, like an inch off the ground, and all the East German troops just trip over it, and then they can't get up. I want that in Totally Accurate Battle Simulator now. When the full version of that game's out, we're not on about World War II, Nate. We're on about East Germany, you know, that wasn't around in World War II either. No, DDR, NVA. FNFAL definitely, but yeah, I want to make that in Totally Accurate Battle Simulator when they add the unit editor in, the East German box armor guy, who's kind of like a shield bearer guy, and all he does is bump into units, but he's like the hay baler, isn't he? I know I keep saying I'm gonna finish, but if I get a picture up of him. There's no good pictures on Google Images, but the hay baler from Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. It's one of them. The guy who runs around with a stick going woo, woo, with the hay bale. It's that guy. Just an East German variant. I suppose the East Germans didn't have wheat, did they? So they couldn't put that on the guy. They had more titanium to spare them food because it was a communist country. Yeah, well, I'm going now, so yeah, don't forget to like the stream, everybody, if you've not liked it. And don't forget, there's merch below if you want to buy the merch. It's not just mugs, it's shirts and hoodies and pillows and whatever else, various gas mask designs and colours. So thank you for watching. I'll be watching Weapon Collector's stream in 40 minutes time or whenever it is. But I've had a good laugh tonight, so thank you for all the shenanigans involving communist armour that was impractical.